it going, guys? So, some of you guys who have been watching the podcast, the Truth Fanatics podcast with myself and Frank Zelenko, Dr. Zelenko's brother, you guys hear us throwing around the term, kind of in half jest, more seriously than jest. The term we use is Gnostic fruitcakes, and you guys are probably wondering what are we talking about? You know, because you know, you could really refer to anybody you don't like, or anybody you don't agree with, right? Whose politics or lifestyle you don't agree with, as a Gnostic fruitcake. I just want to let you know, guys, that it refers to some type of people in particular, and not only that, it actually is something that has been on display when it comes to the when it came to the you-know-what in the last 3 years, and it's something that affected the Jewish world directly. The word Gnostic comes from, the root word is gnosis, right? The root term is gnosis. Gnosis means, G-N-O-S-I-S, just means knowing, right? It's somebody who claims that they know. What do they know? They know the secrets of the universe. They know the way. You know, they know how you're supposed to be. They know what you're supposed to worship. They know, how you're supposed to hold on any particular issue. And that knowing comes from a religious place, right? They know. Now you guys could say, well, what's the difference between that and like people who come in the name of Torah and Judaism and say, we don't believe, we know? Could that be another form of gnosis? The difference here, guys, is that we're coming with Torah, with something that is basically a Masorah that hasn't changed in thousands of years. Something that you can literally demonstrate that was written by non-human entity, the word of Hashem, as opposed to people come with all sorts of fruitcakery and all sorts of fruitcakey ideas without any pretty much any proof, but they say they know. They make the claim that they know. Usually having to do with Avodah Zarah, usually having to do with idol worship. So now, guys, we fast forward to today. You take a look at the woke, right? The woke, with their ideology, right? They claim that they know. They know about critical race theory, and you don't. They know about this, about LGBTQ, and you don't. They know about science, and you don't. The irony, guys, is that they don't know anything about science, right? They even come out and say, well, why are you so stuck on science? There's other things besides, when you talk to them about gender, for example, right? There's other things besides science. There are people's inclinations, or people's identifications, people's feelings, as Michael Savage would say, feelings, okay, that transcend science. Okay, now you're getting into a bit of a religious place, ladies and gentlemen. Now you're getting into a little bit of a religious place. So now these people come and they claim that there is no God, and they're against religion, but ironically they have their own religion. Okay, so now we get to the place of what happened in the last 3 years, right? You come to people and you try to tell them, what about this issue? What about this problem? What about this, red flag? You show them more red flags than a Chinese parade. And they start calling you all kinds of names. You're an anti-whatever, right? Smaxer. You're this. You're against science. Ladies and gentlemen, the people who do anything but science are accusing you of being against science when you show them red flags. When all you're trying to do is debate and say, listen, I'm not any of these things that you say, like Dr. Zlenko. He wasn't against, you know what, the regular ones, but he was against this particular one. Why? Because of certain science, which Dr. Bhakti, for example, yesterday went at length for 40 minutes explaining the mechanisms and the science in depth. You know, a reputable, as you would call him, world-renowned doctor and microbiologist explained the science and why it's problematic. Okay? But ladies and gentlemen, if a person like that comes, if a person like Dr. Bhakti or Dr. Zlenko comes and try to have a conversation, the people on the other side, no, you're an anti-this, and we know, and you don't know. We're following the science, you're following hogwash. That's what they say. Ladies and gentlemen, so that's what's meant by Gnostic cakery, right? Being agnostic. You know, and no one else does. Now, guys, here's the problem. Here's where we encounter the problem in the Jewish world. Unfortunately, a lot of people in the Jewish world, in particular I'm sorry to say, unfortunately, the Orthodox world, have been sucked in. Even if they themselves are not woke, they themselves have been sucked into the modality and into the realm and into the, I guess you can call it, intellectual way of, hive mind, their way of thinking of the woke. This is what astounds me, my friends. The fact that you have all these hospitals and these organizations and pharma companies talking about everything and anything woke under the sun, and people who know better in the Jewish world, people in the Jewish world who agree with me on everything under the sun, for some reason don't see a problem with the fact that these are the same people that are pushing the you-know-what. It's the same people that believe in ESG, the people that, environmental, whatever, horse manure, the same people that believe in, that basically we need to reduce carbon emissions. And what's the number one carbon emitter in the world? You and I. These are the same people that are trying to give us this stuff that has so many red flags, more than a Chinese parade, guys. So we come to the conclusion that people in the Orthodox Jewish world have been sucked into Gnostic ideology, or by Gnostic fruitcakes. My friends, this is a danger, because ultimately it all starts with us, right? It all starts with the Jews. And if we get sucked into this, even if we're not woke and we don't follow woke ideology, but we get sucked into the scientism of these people, it's not science, it's scientism, then the rest of the world is going to follow suit, my friends. That's essentially what's happening. Whether or not you want to say, the state of Israel, also ran head first into this with the, being on the forefront of technology and medical technology and medicine and all these things, being so proud of it. Ladies and gentlemen, you can be on the forefront of medicine. That's not a problem. But just make sure and science, but just make sure you're involved in actual science. What is actual science? One of the things in science is debate. Yes, it is debate. It is discussion. That's why people go for a second and third opinion, right? It's not gnosis. I know and you don't know, and shut up. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what that is? That's a cult. People have been sucked in, people in the Jewish world, who supposedly, allegedly learn Torah, learn about, men read the Talmud, and it's all about debate and getting to the bottom of things and investigating things. And if you see a red flag, you point it out. And if you see a stira, it means contradiction, you point it out. Here, this person is saying this, and then 2 seconds later, he's saying that. You point it out. If the head of the Shmidi Shmi is saying, way back in the beginning, what's her name, Smith and Shmolensky, saying this, and then a few months later she's saying the opposite. No, well, the science changed. No, ladies and gentlemen, they knew, they know, okay, and they're saying it with such conviction to the point of shutting people out of certain elements of society, at certain places in society, and instituting these restrictions, and they know like they know Gnostic fruitcakes, and then 6 months later they're saying the opposite. Ladies and gentlemen, This is a cult. You're following a cult. That is what they are. And my friends, the reason that I'm talking to you about this today is because clearly it'd be one thing if we're talking about people in the Jewish world who don't believe in God, who are subscribing to woke ideology. We know those people, and honestly, there's no one to talk to over there. I've lost hope. But I'm talking about the people who are against woke and understand how, these publications and these media outlets manipulate words and smear people and all these things. How they've waged a campaign against Israel. They understand all these things. But ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to this one thing, they fall for it hook, line, and sinker. And the stuff that they're falling from, it's coming from the same source that they understand is obliterating the world. This is what's the most astounding thing, guys. But lo and behold, it's coming from a particular religious ideology, particular cult called Gnostic fruitcakes. And my friends, as Frank and I like to say, Gnostic fruitcakes are trying to kill us. They are trying to kill us. They have an ideology. There's too many of us on this planet. And, we are the carbon footprint they're trying to erase. And my friends, to all my friends you're watching, who live in Israel and in America, who are part of, in the Jewish world, Shomer Shabbos, believe in God, believe in Hashem, you're trying to work on your emunah, your bitachon. Guys, I'm here to tell you, the people that instituted these policies in the last 3 years, the people that came out with this stuff that claims to be a but it's actually nothing but that, these people are a cult. You're following a cult. You believe the cult and you went after the instructions and the directives of a cult. They have nothing to do with science. They have nothing to do with anything that is remotely even science. At best, it's something called Scientism, and that's basically what this is, guys. How do we know? Well, you come to them and you try to debate them. Are you a doctor? Are you a this? Are you a scientist? And so you bring them a doctor and a scientist. You bring them the most cited cardiologist in the world. Oh, he's an oh, isn't he right wing? You bring him another person. Oh, is that the guy that charges for You bring another person. Oh yeah, like the guy with the horse paste. Ladies and gentlemen, it's you ever watch the movie Idiocracy? Welcome to Costco, I love you. Welcome to Costco, I love you. That's who you're talking to, guys. Cult. Ladies and gentlemen, cults have their own, spiel that they give, or their own responses when you come to them with red flags. More red flags than a Chinese parade. Oh, why do you have to say China? Then a Chinese parade. Then a Chinese parade. I'm going to say it as much as I want. Shut me up. Come to my house. Try me. My friends. It'd be one thing if this was, it'd be one thing if it wasn't affecting people who have their head on straight, but it's affecting people who have their head on straight, otherwise have their head on straight. And this is the scariest part, guys. And we know from the Torah, and I'm just going to end up with this, we know from the Torah, from the Tanakh, that whenever we had situations in the Jewish world, or in Israel, Eretz Israel, where we had people following Avodah Zarah, it doesn't mean that people dropped Torah mitzvot, and just went and did Avodah Zarah. Ladies and gentlemen, they were doing parallel worship. They were doing Avodah Zarah. Oh, there's a police car behind me. It's not for me. And they were also doing Torah mitzvot simultaneously. It's possible, right? It's possible to have cognitive dissonance and convince yourself that you're living a Torah life, when in reality, guys, you have been sucked in by the Gnostic fruitcakes that are trying to kill us. Alright, guys. If you have any questions, I'm here. Peace.